Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Barclay with me, Jez and David. Hope everyone had a really good Christmas and a happy new year to everyone. This week I'm joined with David Billows. Hi David, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Jez. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you very much. And if you can just introduce yourself to the audience, where you're from, what you do for a living, etc.
Well, yeah, as you all know, my name's David Billows. I live in Hitchin, which is in Hertfordshire.
Yep.
It's only like a small little town. It's quite a historic little town. And my job is I work at the Hitchin Priory Hotel. Obviously in Hitchin, I'm everything really. I'm supervisor, receptionist, waiter, everything that the hotel needs me for, apart from being a chef.
There we are. Well, yeah, obviously, as you know, I live relatively close to you in Nebworth and been to watch Hitchin a few times this season, actually. Hitchin Town, who are also called the Canaries. Yeah. Is it something have you ever ventured down to Topfield?
I think the last time I went to Topfield was when Norwich came down for a friendly when we won 10-0.
Yeah.
I think that was back in, I can't remember now.
2012, 2013, something like that.
I think it was, yeah. I think it was when we got promoted to the Premier League the first time, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I remember, and we wore that pinstripe green kit, didn't we, in one of the halves. I can't remember. I think Hitchin wore their away kit one of the halves, and then we wore it in the other. But as you say, I think it was 10-0. Tony Andrew scored a hat-trick. I think that was the only 3 goals he ever scored for us.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. And then, but that was before when Hitchin changed their badge. I'm actually quite offended now.
Yeah, because they had previously had sort of like your stereotypical kind of coat of arms badge, didn't they? And then they changed it to, well, pretty much identical to what Norwich's is, which is quite funny. It is identical, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I always get the Hitchinites come up to me like saying, "Oh, how'd you get on against Rushden Diamonds?" Well, I ain't got a clue. I'm Norwich, mate.
So, talk us through. Obviously, living in Hertfordshire, how did you become a Norwich fan?
So it's my granddad. He was born in Norfolk. I think it was Holt. I think he lived in, because I didn't know my granddad, but he was a Norwich fan. But then they moved to Shoreditch with my dad, and my granddad forced him not to support any London clubs.
Right.
Stay as a Canary, and then my dad forced it onto me. So yeah, rest is history.
There we go. Do you still go up to a lot of the games? Norwich games?
I try to, but because I work weekends, I normally try to go to cup games now.
Yeah.
Because I've got at least booked a month in advance, and even then, it's just depending who we're playing. My tickets are sold out, so it's only cup games I can try and go to. But friendlies I normally go to. I'll probably go to at least 2-3 games a season. I know it's not a lot, but it's just a demand of my job, unfortunately.
Of course, yeah, it's understandable, and I'm sure you tune in. And obviously, there was a relatively local one to us yesterday, wasn't there, at Luton? Which was what was your take of that game?
So I just listened to it on Norfolk radio.
Yeah.
It was fairly entertaining, I think. There's more positives than there were negatives. I mean, thank God for Nunes to score that goal.
Yeah,
I know Angus Gunn's sort of he's on the end of a gun point at the moment, isn't he? Some bad decisions, but no, it's nice to get first win of 2025. It's I'm not expecting a lot from us this season, if I'm quite honest. That's my honest opinion. But to get an away win against a former Premier League side, don't care where they are in the league, it's pretty good achievement.
No, I completely agree with you, mate. And so jumping into some of the questions that I'd set you the famous 10 questions. What's the best goal you've ever seen at Carrow Road?
As a witness, watching, it has to be Safri against Newcastle.
What goal that was?
That was back in 2005, I think it was. We was pretty much deemed relegated, but then suddenly Dean Ashton was getting all these goals, weren't he? And then suddenly Safri just scored this 40-yarder, just incredible. That's the one goal I'll never forget. And I know we've scored other similars, throughout the past, but that one just always stuck to my mind. It was just a wonderful goal. And normally every time I see a goal, it'll be highlights on the TV, but to witness that was just absolutely incredible. So yeah, my best goal, just for me personally, has to be Safri 40-yarder against Newcastle think we ended up winning 2-0 in the end, if I remember correctly.
It was. Do you know what? I think it was 2-1 because I think Clivert scored right at the end. It was right at the death, and I'm pretty sure it was Ashton that might have been Ashton or Mackenzie, I suppose, that scored the other one in that game. But yeah, you're right. That was a fantastic goal, wasn't it? I was away in one of the few games that I missed that season. I was in Spain on holiday, but we did find a bar to watch it in, and yeah, I mean, I think the table went sideways when that one went in. Yeah, I've seen a few. I think Howson's against Forest was always one for me, where the way he's controlled.
Oh yeah.
It's a phenomenal goal, really. But no, I think there's been a few, isn't there? I mean, again, I was, funnily enough, there seems to be teams in the northeast with the wonder strikes. I was in Spain for the Alex Tettey goal against Sunderland.
Oh yeah, classic.
Similar sort of thing, really, wasn't it? But it's. Yeah, there's been some great goals down the years, isn't there? I think you look at sort of the goals that Borja Signs has scored this season, and majority of those bangers are away from home. But I think he has scored a few at Norwich, hasn't he? So,
but the fact that he's scored so many wonderful goals this season, it's going to be hard to pinpoint which will be the best one. I think there was one in particular, but normally when we score goals like that, it'll only be 2-3 times a season, and the fact that Signs been doing this, until the flunk started, it's been incredible.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he doesn't. They're talking about this ban, aren't they, because of what's happened up at Sunderland? But it seems to have sort of gone a little bit quiet. But they must have some pretty substantial evidence if it's gone to an FA charge. But hopefully nothing too severe comes of it. We'll see.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the players have been picked on, apparently, from the QPR games as well. But
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. At the end of the day, we should be a team that cannot rely on one player. That seems to be our problem at the moment. But we was relying on Sargent, and then suddenly Signs started scoring goals. Now we're relying on him. We really can't rely on one player. As much as I'd love for us to do that, we've got to be a team. You've got to remember, if we sell him, if we happen to sell him in January, I doubt it we will, but if we do, then it's like, we've given up. No, we can't be like that. But yeah.
No, completely agree. So carry
on. Yeah, sorry, to answer your question, definitely the Safri, just for me personally, witnessing it was just wonderful.
No, couldn't agree more, mate, to be fair. And so number 2, who is Norwich's most iconic captain?
I know I'm going to get ripped apart for this, but I think Russell Martin.
Okay.
I remember that famous story when I think his kid was born, and then suddenly he literally turned up to Liverpool within, within half a day or something, turns up and he scores a goal. And I think that's a determination for a captain, which near to the end of his Norwich career, he was getting ridiculed, and I met the guy as well. Funny enough, I forget who we had in goal who, Ruddy was injured. Oh, what was his name? He was former,
Mark Bunn.
It really annoys me. I can't remember. But that's it, Mark Bunn. Yeah. I met his uncle, and I was, just outside Carrow Road, and it just happened to be his uncle. And I was all sort of like starstruck a little bit. So, oh wow, he just sat there in the lobby at the Holiday Inn at Carrow Road, and I was like, mind if I just grab an autograph? And then the rest was history. And then the game that came down was when we played against Reading. We won 2-1 today. And again, met up with him, and he gave me and Leanne, my wife, 2 player lounge tickets. I thought, what? This can't be real, right? And I was just, then just me and Leanne just sitting next to Russell Martin. And I think, who else was there? I think, Ruddy was there. He was obviously injured in his, leg cast. Who else was there? I can't remember now. But Russell Martin we was just talking about Bioshock, man, on the PlayStation. It was just the weirdest conversation I ever had, because we only see players on the pitch. Yeah. We never see them outside of the football.
No.
And just him with his wife, it was just so surreal. It was beautiful, and I've always admired that. But going beyond about being a captain, I think he's been one of our best captains. Towards the end, I understand, but he's always had that strong demeanour with Norwich. He's always put his heart into it. Yeah. So for me, I know it's controversial, but Russell Martin, as the iconic captain. I know, we've had a few recently, but for me, Russell Martin, it's got to be maybe a bit of Craig Fleming here and there, but Russell Martin for me.
I think as well, Dave, is that he was he not the manager? Sorry, was he not the captain when we won the playoffs as well?
He was, wasn't he?
So he's one of the only Norwich captains that's lifted the trophy at Wembley. So
yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Yeah,
that's probably another kind of reason why your point's valid, because actually you can't really know how many I've said managers again, how many captains have that achievement. Yes, I know it was via the playoffs. Yes, I know there've been captains that have won us leagues, etc. But Wembley's Wembley, isn't it? At the end of the day, so I think that's probably a good, I suppose point of view, I suppose there as well.
It might be new Wembley. It's still Wembley at the end of the day, and Ipswich haven't been at the new Wembley yet, if my memory serves me correct. No, they haven't. No. They've just had no, they haven't. So that's kind of nice to know that we've had that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, wonderful.
No, 100%. I mean, for me, I don't think I agree. I agree with your points regarding Martin. I don't think, for me, you can't look past in recent years Grant Holt.
Yeah.
I don't think. I'm trying to think of sort of more recently. So, the likes of sort of Hanley, etc. I think Grant Holt was a captain that was made captain in that League One season, all the way through to the Premier League.
Yeah,
was all the way there. But yeah, certainly no fair shout with Martin, to be fair. So moving on to question 3, which player has surprised you the most this season?
Oh, it's got to be Signs, isn't it? Just especially when Sarah left, then Signs just it's like he took up the mantle. Yeah. Just absolutely incredible. He's our leading goal scorer at the moment, so you can't deny that. Although saying that, I'll do a little bonus for Synak as well. However you pronounce him, I think he's just a young player, and like even if he's getting into the box, just passing the ball, just I really hope Signs we might sell, but Synak we've got to keep. I think he's going to be our future little Grant Holt, if I'm quite honest.
Yeah.
He's only young at the end of the day, but for me, if let me just say Signs and Synak as well. Make it as 2 because I think they've both been incredible. I know Synak hasn't scored the goals he's wanted to, but that doesn't matter. The fact his assists are pretty sweet as well, and he's always put the effort in.
No, agreed. And I think he's, I've asked this question a few times, and it does always quite obviously seem to be Signs that gets the mention, given the season that he's had. But you're right. I think Synak could come in and maybe quite fairly came in with some stick early on, but you're right. He's a young player. He's his first time playing in the country. He's coming with a bit of a price tag, so people sometimes think that automatically means that they should be good to go straight away. Well, that's not always the case, and you got to allow these players to develop under a coach that wants to develop these players as well. That's what he was known for at Norwich, I think that's how you pronounce it. So players like Synak, players like Fisher, players like Forsyth, players like Forson and Mankwer. That's just I know he's not there at the moment, but they all need time to develop, I think. So I certainly think you're right in that sense with Synak. I think he'll come good.
Yeah, of course. It's the effort he puts in as well. It's not. Yeah, right, he's got a price tag, but he just sort of reminds me of of Ewan Roberts. I know we got him towards the end of his career, but obviously Ewan Roberts had a real shitty first season, and suddenly he became one of our best strikers towards the end of his retirement. Well, at least for Norwich anyway, because I know he went to Cambridge for a little while. But yeah, it just reminds me of a Ewan Roberts. You're going to struggle, but you're going to get noticed for little things like passing the ball, assists, little things like that. And then now Ewan Roberts has become an iconic Norwich player as well. And I hope Synak, however you pronounce his name, I hope he stays with us. I hope he doesn't get the pressure of the fans thinking, because he hasn't scored many goals, he's useless. Everyone thought the same as Sargent. thought he's useless, but now we rely on Sargent. It's funny how fans turn around their opinions, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. And so moving on, I'm going to skip a question here. I might come back to it later. What's your most controversial? We might have already had it, but what's your most controversial Norwich opinion?
I think just liking Russell Martin. I mean, a lot of fans hate him, I think, but I haven't really put much thought into it because I haven't really had anything that's very controversial. But for me, Russell Martin just probably is a great captain. That's it.
Yeah.
Not the greatest, but a great captain. But other than that, I haven't really got any strong opinions apart from I will dare I say this, but for Hitchin, I thought he was going to be a great manager, but that went out the window, didn't it? So.
It did, but that may be one of mine. I'm not. I am generally someone, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I am someone that sometimes sits on the fence. I think splinters on my arse might be not going too far from the truth, really, but sometimes I do stick my neck out with opinions, and I certainly think Hitchin would have kept us up that season that we got relegated. Where he got sacked, 5 games from the end. And I know we had some tough games, but I think we could have got at least, I don't know, the points required to stay up that season. So that would be something that would be controversial, I suppose, for many.
I think it was because of the West Brom game, if I remember. I think that was his last game, wasn't it? That was a must-win game. I think they were down there with us. I think, I wanted him gone by then.
Yeah.
Because it was, what was that game? It was against Cardiff or West Ham when we was doing it absolutely brilliantly, and he made those awful substitutions. And I'm not saying one game changes an opinion, but that kind of put the nail in the coffin for me. It's like, Christ almighty, we're the best team here. And this was at West Ham, if I remember correctly.
I went to that game. I went to the West Ham game, and the fact that I couldn't actually get in for 10, 15 minutes because of Upton Park at the time, wasn't it? It was a horrible little ground to get into. And it was, I couldn't. I missed the first 10, 15. I think you're right. I think we took the lead, but then ended up losing because of some changes, or at least drawing because some of the changes that he made. But I think as well I felt the same at that point because I think it was like January time. But then I felt, well, they've stuck with him now to March or April. Let's see the season out and see where we get to. But they've obviously appointed Adams, and then that didn't really work, did it? So I don't know.
I understand. Sorry to interrupt you, Jez. I do understand that Hitchin took over from Lambert.
Yeah.
But even in his first season, we finished higher than what Lambert got us finished. So
he had that purple patch.
Yeah. Right. We'll probably, even mid-table mediocrity in the Premier League isn't a bad thing. But I just don't know where it went wrong. Actually, I will tell you where it went wrong. You asked me about the transfer thing. I'll let you know where it went wrong.
Oh yeah. We'll come on to that later on. But then the other controversial Norwich opinion I have is the fact that I thought Stuart Webber actually did quite a good job. I know that he didn't always cover himself in glory with the fans, and he made some really stupid comments. But from what the club is now to what it was then, in terms of how it can compete in terms of bringing players in, he was the driving force behind that. So I certainly think and the fact that he brought Farke in. Yes, I know he ruined it with some of his further managerial appointments, but I actually think I think people sort of nailed their colours to the mast, or whatever the expression is, quite quickly with Webber, and go, wow, he's slated the fans, and he's this, he's that, and Zoe Ward or Webber, she still works at the club, so is he still in there in the back and all of this? But I actually think, if you look at it on face value, I think he actually did an all right job.
Yeah, I think with his career at Norwich, we did, I agree with you. We did more good than bad, but I think it was more on the sign of players. Like, I know I don't mind if we sign players that I've never heard of and I have to do research.
Yeah.
But then suddenly they turn out to be great. They turn out to be bad. Probably more bad than good. But my opinion on Webb was more, I think it's time to move on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as bad as wanting Delia and Michael to move on as fast. But I never really put much thought in Webb. I think it's more about Delia and Michael, I think. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Webb.
so.
Yeah, I'm not that fussed whether Webb stayed or not, but it's our club, isn't it? So,
Don't get me wrong. I wanted it was the right time for him to go.
yeah,
But I
agreed.
say I'm of the opinion that I think a lot of people, perhaps I'm wrong in this, but I think a lot of people the opinion that he didn't help our club at all, and he left the club in a worse place than he found it. No, he didn't, because the club's in a lot better place now than it ever was. But I
Yeah,
can see why people
I
think that
agree.
because of the league position, etc.
I think because a lot of fans, it is now kind of thing, isn't it? So,
Mm.
I agree. When we got promoted to second, Daniel Farker, there should have been a little bit more investment,
Yeah,
and there wasn't. But it's kind of like deja vu. It's very predictable, and the thing was Daniel Farker should not have act.
no.
I think just kept him on the end of the season and then decide on that. But yeah, this is what it is now, isn't it? It's all in the past.
Well, had he, that was the famous win at Brentford, wasn't it? He had
Yeah, oh yeah, the away win as well. Yeah,
the tide turned. But who knows? Who knows what will happen? I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the new owners now, for sure. But and then on that
yeah.
note, question 6: should Norwich invest in a new stadium or stick with Carrow Road forever?
Okay, I'm 50-50 on this because, as you know, I don't drive, so I have to
Yeah,
commute to Norwich by train. So by train, I want Carrow Road to stay there because it's literally just a 5-minute walk.
God,
But at the same time, I don't see it being any harm in having a 35,000 seater. I think that's quite a good number for Norwich because we have got a loyal fan base. I
yeah,
mean, hell, League One in 2010, we still had full stadium.
yeah, yeah.
All right, it was only about 26,000, not counting the away end, but I think 35 is quite reasonable. I think 40 might be a bit. We're not exactly like the Sunderland type team, but we have got a
No,
fan base there. If we do, I couldn't think where we're going to put the stadium because it would have to be a whole brand new stadium to get 35,000 seater,
yeah,
unless we knock down the hotel, but that'll be bad for me because I do like going to holiday in the road. So, and they do Guinness there, which is, yeah,
it's always
I
nice.
know other hotels. Yeah, but for me, I think at the moment, I'm more 60% keep Carrow Road,
Yeah.
40% get a new stadium. That's fine. That's just progress to me. So I'm not the one to stop us getting a new stadium. I want us to get a new stadium, but at the same time, I'm just being selfish.
No, but you and probably 24,000 other people, because it is a great position in the city. It's, for me, I'm similar to you. I do drive to the games, and, I find somewhere to park on the, anywhere near the stadium really. And, for me, it's a good position, and it's good. As you say, it's good for people that are coming on the train, good for away fans, good for, if you're in the city for beforehand, you can then just walk to the ground.
Good, yeah.
Whereas if it's then placed at, I think in the past people said perhaps like where the Norfolk Showground is on the A47, or, could they buy some land on the A11, A47 junction and have it there? And I don't think that would be beneficial at all to, you've seen a lot of clubs that have done that in the past and moved their stadium to out of town, retail parks, etc. And I don't think I think I had a few fans on, and of, both Norwich and away fans that have called them soulless bowls, and I don't think that would be good at all. But it's all about, not to go all whatever the lady's name is on Channel 4, location, but that is what it is for me. If they
Oh
want
yeah, I
to,
mean, if they do happen to invest in a new ground, brilliant. It's just a matter of doing research how to travel there.
yeah,
But for me at the moment, I love commuting by train. Obviously, if I have to, I'll stay at the Holiday Inn anyway, and just make a day of it.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Agree with that, mate. And who has been the best Norwich manager in the last 20 years?
I'm obviously going to say Daniel Farker,
Yeah,
but that's not to say I'm going to dismiss Paul Lambert. I know the Ipswich thing. Yeah, well, fuck Ipswich, and he got that red card on that day when we beat him 3-0. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say Daniel Farke number one, and then Paul Lambert number two. Because despite what Paul Lambert's done, he did get us out of League One.
Yep.
He got straight into the Premier League, second place. And then the first season he was in charge, we finished 12th, I think.
Yep.
So he kept us up. And that's, you can't ignore that.
No.
You just can't. Despite what Paul Lambert's done, and then managing Ipswich, I think he was an agent when he went to Ipswich, got him relegated and that. So
yeah.
But yeah,
he knew what he was doing, didn't he?
Yeah, and for me, Daniel Farke, number one. I mean, what other manager has won the same trophy twice? Despite, I don't care if it's a championship, it's a league title.
Yeah.
Just absolutely incredible. Just going up and then coming down. Being a yo-yo is exciting. A yo-yo team's great. One season's going to be shit, one season's going to be great.
Yeah.
And the fact that Daniel Farke luckily had one season, obviously it was a bit of a mess, didn't we? I think we finished 14th, but he relied on the youngsters, and not a lot of managers will do that, despite, a little bit of money here and there. I mean, Timu Puki what can we say? And just incredible what Daniel Farke has achieved, and what he's doing at Leeds now. It's almost been similar. He got them to the playoff finals, and now they're top of the league, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, by not some margin, but at least I think they're 4 or 5 points clear at least. I think at the moment. So yeah, he's doing a great job there under some very challenging circumstances. By the way,
I think it's not a fluke that he's Will's a one-trick pony, but the fact he did it twice with us. And now it just proves he's a brilliant championship manager.
Yeah.
A brilliant, whether he's going to do that for Leeds in the Premier League, if they do go up, that's another story. But yeah, for me, Daniel Farke, best manager in the last 20 years. Paul Lambert, actually I could probably add that to the controversial opinion as well, but Paul Lambert, definitely second.
No, they'd be my top two. They'd certainly be my top two, mate. I think, I agree with what you're saying about the Ipswich stuff, but it doesn't matter. It's what he's done at Norwich that counts. And we were a club that if we hadn't got out of League One, we probably would have stayed there for a while. And Culverhouse and Carcer coming in and doing what they did, brilliant. Farke, 100%. Both interesting that both have got links with Borussia Dortmund as well. Whether that's been sort of ingrained in their blueprint as well, I don't know. I think Farke had a real mixture, didn't he? He had a mixture of players, international players that hadn't really done it in Germany, but then actually came and did it in the Championship. Stiepermann, Vrancic, Zimmerman, Tribal.
You remind me of the Zimmerman defensive header when he fell on the ground and he tackled. I forget the Wolves player's name. He tackled the player with his head.
Yeah,
it's like one of the best moments. It's always made me chuckle. That.
Yeah, it's funny. That it is funny. Mo Leitner was another one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you've got all those players, and then as you say, some youngsters. We were really lucky, weren't we? We had Max Aarons, Jamal Lewis, both Luton lads, by the way. You've got what's your face, who's at Blackburn now, Todd Cantwell. And it was a real good mix, wasn't it, of players there. And Farke, he developed. Yes, Webber was the recruitment person, but I would imagine Farke had a say in that, and certainly, developed those players. He didn't suffer fools gladly either. There's the likes of, what was the lad's name? Marcus Edwards, was it, that we got from Tottenham on loan and thought he was Barry Big Bollocks. So he got shipped out straight away. He wouldn't even entertain people that were going to upset that group. He just didn't even entertain, did he?
That's the thing, is Farke had trust in the youngsters as well. He's seeing it, we don't know what's going on in the training field, training centres. He's seeing more than what we are, and all we see is 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, there must be something going on in the back rooms. And like, well, yeah, but that's not my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not being funny. That's the manager's job. I mean, if anyone wants to worry about what I get up to at work, don't bother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Cantwell, shame, but
Yeah.
you know, but what he did for Norwich was more good than it was bad. Just the bad bit was just how he left. That was it.
No, agreed. And was there some perhaps mental issues going on there in the background? Yes, probably. But it's, as you say, it wasn't a great ending, but I think he's getting somewhere back to his best now, isn't he, at Blackburn? So, you know, good luck to him, I say, and hopefully he can build on his career and improve his. I don't want to say grow up, because that sounds like I'm being disrespectful to him. But I'm not being disrespectful to him. I mean, you know, mature and be that player that we know he can be. And you know, I wish him all the best of luck. So now, question 8: what's the biggest transfer regret Norwich have ever had?
Ricky Van Wolfswinkel.
Yeah.
Straight away. I'm so glad I'm not one of these fans that has to have players' names on their shirts, because God knows how much that set back.
About 35 quid, I think it was.
Oh God, bugger that. Because if I buy a Norwich shirt, it's either going to be blank or it'll have my name on it and the year of my birth. I never buy players' name, because they might. God, blimey, what a flop that was. 8 million, I think. Nearly 9 million, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He scored that goal against Everton, our first game in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, yes, okay, this might be a good deal then. You know, it's only our record transfer deal. Awesome. And then I think the next time he scored was in the League Cup a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ricky Van Wolfswinkel, it's the first time we've ever spent something like that, you know, because I think it was our third season in the Premier League, so now we had money.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sky, for that. But fuck me, Ricky Van Wolfswinkel. Jeez, I think what was even worse was the feed the wolf thing, wasn't it? It was
the old marketing thing, which was just sort of like, and I don't think he'd even kicked a ball for us at that point, had he? Because I think that there was the that shirt was that season, wasn't it? The white and black number.
Oh God!
Yeah,
the wolf. That wolf starved. That wolf died. He didn't. That wolf did not get fed. I mean, I'm not saying it's all his fault, because most of the time he didn't get the ball himself. There was no support for him. I get it, but that's still 8 million wasted. And I think so. Basically, I think what did we say? We went to Real Betis, I think. No, he didn't. Was it Real Betis or was it Sporting something? I can't remember.
Well, we brought him to Sporting.
That's it. Yeah, and he was doing okay. He was at a club where he was comfortable. Whether the Premier League was probably a bit too much for him, but he didn't always get the support, and I understand. But you've still got to show why you're worth the 8 million. And obviously, there's been videos where he's fantastic. I remember it was going around like, oh wow, look at this player we've got. We're gonna be in a top half. We'll probably even play for Europe. And I mean, I was sceptical. I was excited that we spent this money, and I think, this is really very un-Norwich to actually spend 8 million. So I thought, oh, this is different. But no, I'm glad I'm not one of those idiots that has to have the player's name on the back of my shirt. Saved myself 25-30 quid there, didn't I? So
yeah, I did.
Yeah, no,
I had a Van Wolfswinkel on the back of my shirt.
I bet you can sell a lot for that in the auction, can't you?
I lost it in Turkey, mate. I don't know what happened to it. I went on holiday to Turkey and it went missing. But
you left it there, right?
No, yeah. So said to a mate the other day, somehow we were talking about Van Wolfswinkel, and I said I sort of ceremoniously just left it there because of how he was playing for us. But I don't know, maybe not. But I think on the other side of that is Solis as well. I think was a bit of a flop, wasn't he? Unfortunately.
Yeah. But I think the one. Well, I mean, then we got Naismith, didn't we, for a similar price? Personally, my opinion at the time was, oh great, we've got a well-known player, done wonders for Everton. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, why did he leave Everton? He was still, I wouldn't say he was at his best prime, but you know, again, he scores on his debut, and then I can't remember much more after that. But he went to Hearts.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, of course, yeah. So, who is the best, moving on, who is the best midfielder Norwich has ever had?
oh, the problem with us is we always sign midfielders.
Yeah.
I want to say, and I know he was more defensive midfielder at the time, but I know he sort of climbed the ranks. Alex Tete.
Yeah.
I just think what a wonderful guy. I mean, I'm just saying my opinion. I'm not saying he was the best.
I think,
This is just my opinion.
it's worth qualifying, isn't it? I'm 38. You're about the same, aren't you?
I'm 40, mate. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. I've just
still in your 30s.
year.
Just say you're in your 30s. But yeah, so we're coming at it from we started watching Norwich, probably late 90s, mid to late 90s. So of course people listening are going to go, well, why are they saying Tetty? Because I think Tetty as well. But there were players before that. I mean, Ian Crook would be one that I would say, good pass with the ball. But there'll be people listening that were watching Norwich 50s, 60s, 70s that could probably name other midfielders that were probably better. Was Martin Peters a midfielder? I can't remember.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'd even go and say Darren Eady as well.
Well, exactly. But we can't, we can't comment on those. I'd hate to think people were saying, oh, well, why are they thinking Tetty? But, I would, we just can't comment on that. And I'd love people to come on and tell me stories and tell us stories about these players that from, bygone eras. But yeah, I agree with you, Tetty. I think he had a great career with us, and I think he was a legend and scored some good goals. And we haven't ever, I think the best stat really, or the best thing we could ever say about Alex Tetty is that I don't think we've ever replaced him.
No, why would he? Because his attitude was just beautiful, like on and off the pitch. He was just always smiling.
Yeah.
What an attitude! What a player to not only, despite the money he might have been getting, he loved his job.
Yeah.
He loved playing for Norwich. I don't think he wanted to leave. But and he was part of our promotions as well. It wasn't just about his football. He scored a wonderful. I remember that goal against Man United at Old Trafford. Just brilliant. Yeah, but it was just his attitude as well, and it wasn't always about him being a player. I just loved. I think there was a couple of times I saw his Instagram, Twitters, and he was just always happy. He's kind of reminded me of like Tim Klaus, just having fun.
Yeah.
I know I'm not a defender and we're talking about a midfielder, but a player with a brilliant attitude is going to bring that in towards, despite a result, is going to bring that towards the changing rooms. He's always got something positive to say. Sorry, I've got an ambulance going by.
It's fine. No problem. Always happens. It happens in Hitchin, doesn't it? To be fair, it always happens in Hitchin.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if someone's getting arrested right now. Anyway, going off topic. But Alex Tetty for me. I mean, there are others, but just for me personally, I love Tetty. It's the attitude.
Yeah.
And he just reminds me of the attitude I need to bring to my own workplace as well. I don't want to go in going, oh, another day at fucking work. I want to smile and just bring that to other people as well. Mm-hmm. And that's what Tetty did. I just love him. I just wish he was. Wait a minute, is he? Is there rumours he's coming back or something? Or like in the background?
Yeah, there was rumours he was going to go and coach in the academy, wasn't he? But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's at Rosenborg coaching at the moment.
That's right, yeah.
I might be wrong with that, but no, you're right. We've never replaced him. He's that sort of character that we need now. And I think we have got perhaps someone in the club now that is a bit like him, Hernandez. But I think,
I love him to bits. It's like I remember the Instagram when we beat Ipswich 1-0, and he was doing that car thing, that da 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 da. He's dancing while the car's moving. Fucking what an attitude! But just class. And we need players like that. We need players that are not just going to the game. Oh, here's your paycheck. We want players like Hernandez, Tete, Klaus, just a bit of fun. Even take the piss out of your teammates.
Yeah, no, completely.
It's great.
Steepman having to clean the manager's car was classic, wasn't it? And I think obviously, I don't know, I can't remember if Tetty was still around at that point. I think he was. Was he? That was his second to last season.
Last season, yeah.
Maybe I don't know, but still, it was hilarious. And you can tell that was probably some banter around the change room there, and he's had to do that. But no, definitely. So just finally, then, David, how do you think Norwich can improve its scouting network?
Don't spend 8 million quid. Don't fucking do it. Just if you can see quality cheap, go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who we sign. Honestly, the scouting could sign the world's greatest player.
Yeah.
We're still going to think he's shit until he plays his first game, makes a missed pass, he's shit. So my opinion on scouting is, do you know what? It doesn't matter who you get in. Doesn't matter the quality of that player. The player could be shit, but will be wonderful for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And we could see a player who's been absolutely wonderful, but then plays shit for us. You just don't know. With scouting, I think look into the academy, because there's loads of youngsters that will happily come into our squad.
Yeah.
And I do hate it when we sign youngsters just so we can sell them off. I don't like that.
Right.
So, but for me, I've got no opinion. My opinion only matters is giving that player a chance.
Yeah.
Giving a few games, brilliant. But the scouting, I'd say, try and look for cheaper, because why spend 8 million quid and he's going to be a total flop?
Yeah.
You know, there's no harm in getting players for free. I mean, look at Team Pukki. I mean, I think we got Huckabee for, I think we got him for 3 million at the time, which I thought was a bargain.
Yeah.
Well, absolute bargain.
Might be less than that, to be honest, mate.
I thought it was
about 750 grand, but it's, it might have been somewhere in between that. But certainly, whatever it was an absolute bargain. You're right.
No, you are right. No, yes, you was right, because we had Peter Crouch on loan as well, which obviously we didn't know how good he was going to be, but he contributed as well.
Did, yeah.
But we had to make a decision. It was one or the other, and I'm glad it was Huckabee, obviously, because it ended up brilliantly.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, you are right. So we got him from Man City, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or was it Leeds?
No, it was Man City, and he did previously play for Leeds, but Man City, and then he left and then sort of came back a couple of weeks later. But no, I agree with what you're saying on that. To do with the scouting network, I think, it certainly for me is we can cast the net a little bit further, both in the UK and internationally. I think they can certainly explore the South American route again. I think it's come up trumps with Zara. Look how much we spent on him. Yes, it was quite a lot. I think 5 or 6 mil or whatever it was, and we sold him for 18 mil. I'm the same as you. I'm not always about that selling players for profit, but that does keep the club afloat at the end of the day. But certainly, these sort of gems that we can find in South America or wherever, really. I think Africa is certainly somewhere where is a bit of a sort of an untapped sort of talent pool there as well. So, I've certainly, that would be my opinion, but.
I mean, I don't mind that we're a feeder club. It's been, I know that's not the attitude to have, but we've been like that for years and years and years. So a player comes and goes, but that's why if you can get a player on a free, and if he's great, brilliant. We've already made profit. We can sell him for 100,000 profit. But so my opinion on scouts is, do you know what? Just don't fucking spend too much.
No.
You can do. We seem to do better when we get players on the cheap. And I know a lot of fans have got that attitude. Oh yeah, but we only get players on the cheap. I mean, well, that's just life, unfortunately. I'd rather get a cheap player who wants to play for the club and the badge.
They can improve.
And then if clubs are interested, then we've done something right. That player's done something right.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get that money. We don't. I hate it when say, oh yeah, we've sold someone for 20 million. Let's now get a player for 20 million. It doesn't work like that.
No.
Actually, that's the sad truth. We'll probably only spend 100,000. Fine.
Yeah.
But I don't even mind when we look into League One and League Two. Can that player step up to a championship? Well, yeah, might be able to, because it's the only difference is the clubs you're playing against.
Yeah.
You're still in the English league. So my opinion is, do you know what? Just do what you got to, but don't overspend.
No, I agree.
I'm one of fans that, get on a cheap, but always give players a chance. I mean, I take the piss sometimes when I leave messages on like the Norwich City Facebook page saying, you do one mistake, that's it, you're out of the club. But that's just I'm just taking the piss out of the attitudes of fans.
Yeah.
So.
No, great. But no, David, thank you so much for coming on. Just before you go, I just wanted to highlight how obviously me and you know each other, I think, through the Norwich City forum, possibly, wasn't it?
The Norwich City forum.
Which I think you're an admin of, aren't you? So perhaps you can just talk about that before you go. And I know we've already had Gulliver on from that, but maybe give your opinion of it.
Well, you had the little yank on, did you? Did you know that's not actually his accent? I swear he's putting that on.
He's not. He's proper English, isn't he? Usually, but
he'll kill me now after that. But I've told him when I first met him, said, you don't need to put the accent on, mate. Just speak properly, okay?
Brilliant.
I still be American, but anyway, going back to the Norwich City fan forum. Yeah, it's on Facebook. Anyone can join. I can't remember if they've done questions for it now because I'm rarely on Facebook as much as it is. But if you know John Watering, if you know your Colin Flax, they'll probably kill me that I've mentioned them. Great people. Anyone can join as long as you're a Norwich fan. If you support Ipswich, fuck off.
Yeah.
My favourite team's Arsenal, but I do like Norwich. Said no, you got to be Norwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very good with advertising, so they're probably going to kill me for this. So, but yeah, you can be from anywhere. You don't, like I said, Gulliver's American apparently. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Please join.
Of course. Yeah, no, 100%. I always have a little look on there as well, and it's a nice. I always think it's a great community. Yes, you got some very strong opinions on there sometimes, but that's what makes the world go round, really, isn't it? So no, it's really good. So no, thanks for that, and. Well, thanks once again, David. Obviously, for everyone listening, you can follow us on all of our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram and X. And you are able to now watch or at least listen to the show on YouTube. So do tune in. And thanks for everyone. Thanks, David, once again. And look forward to speaking to everyone soon.
Okay,
You're really good, mate.
I don't know.
You come across really well, actually.
We are available on all social media channels, including Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening, and tune in soon.